Keep going, do what we was doing just now and we'll all be happy.
reform the gun, better reform the motherfucker, better reform the sucker. Better reform the gun, better reform the motherfucker, better reform the sucker. Better reform the gun, better reform the motherfucker, better reform the sucker. Better reform the gun, better reform the motherfucker, better reform the sucker. You got a real type of thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going round. You got a real type of thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going round. Where the party people at, y'all? We want the bone, come on. Give up the
You get up off your ass now. It's that time now.
gotta have some bone. We want the bone. Give up the bone.
Are you ready?
We need the bone. Gotta have the bone.
Da 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 da.
You got a real type of thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going round. You got a real type of thing going down, down.
I added a new transition. Look.
Fancy.
Yeah, I know, fancy, right? What is up? Hope everybody's doing well this Sunday. Hope you had a good Mother's Day last week. I originally planned on doing a stream, and then as it came up, I kind of was reminded it was Mother's Day, and I was like, oh. And I also realized I had like three or four video chat calls that day.
Okay.
Because we had the
Busy.
call. Yeah, well, yeah, it was also the day that because it was Mother's Day, it's like one side of my family decided we just want to do a big chat all together, so we ended up doing a long chat, and then it was her parents, other parents, and then other side of the family. So it was a busy day. So not today though. Today's a super not busy day. So
And the rain's coming.
yeah,
So,
the rains. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like the last 2 days, it's been get out and do stuff kind of days.
Yep. The rain is coming. So.
Yeah, after training and stuff yesterday, I went. The wife and I went, and we took like a long walk in the evening when it was like cooled off a little bit.
Yeah.
We walked all around the area and stuff. It was great. So hopefully you're getting out too. As you see, Topaz is back.
What's up, guys?
Check out his Twitch channel. He has started a Twitch channel. He has come around to the youngsters of today.
Yes.
And
yes.
but no, just he has his own Twitch channel. It's Topaz Like the Stone.
Topaz Like the Stone, yeah.
Topaz Like the Stone. So jump over there. He's got a lot of jiu-jitsu content, but other stuff too. Like
Yeah.
we as I've talked about before, he has a wide variety of things he covers more than just jiu-jitsu. It's a whole like lifestyle kind of thing. So,
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. And being on here helps me kind of spread the message too, which is why I enjoy coming back. In fact, it's gotten to the point now where I asked John if I can come back before he even says, "Hey man, you want to come on this week?" But if you guys check it out, Topaz Like the Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So the basic idea for the content on the site, man, is there's this great book called The Second Mountain by David Brooks, and what he talks about is most of us. We start out on this quest for what's become the first mountain, which is a good job, a family, and accolades in business, nice car, a house, all of those things. And then once you achieve those things, your first mountain, most people realize that's not really the meaning of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they set out on this quest for the second mountain, and being what's their legacy going to be?
Mm-hmm.
How are they impacting mankind and searching for happiness? So that's what we talk about. We talk about jiu-jitsu, yoga, mental health, unleashing your limitless potential. Like, it's a lot of fun, man. And I call people in on the phone or on Skype or Zoom, and we chat, ask them a bunch of questions, and we just bullshit for a while, but it's a lot of fun. So yeah, tune in, guys. And John's been gracious enough to host us here also.
Yep.
On the channel.
Anytime he's on that I'm not on, if you're on my channel, happen to be my channel, I'll be showing his stuff. So
yeah.
But jump over to his channel, support his channel.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited. But let's do some jiu-jitsu because that's why we're here.
Yeah, right. So today I wanted to talk, about something that I've talked about in the past, and I've shown on the stream a couple times and stuff, but I really haven't talked a lot about the details. Like, I haven't spent the stream talking about it, And what it is the concept of, traditionally it's from closed guard. That's where I've been, if I get my way, I want to attack this from closed guard. Simply because from closed guard, as boring as a position as it can be, if I have you in my closed guard, I can attack sweeps, I can attack submissions, I can attack you, and you don't really have a lot of options in terms of attacking, except for getting out of the guard, breaking the guard in some way, passing. Like, it's not until you start to pass that you can really start to attack things on yourself. So to me, if I get someone in closed guard, I want to make sure that I'm trying to attack them, so they're not getting complacent and opening my guard easy and all this other stuff, but also because that's where I have the most advantage. Like, they don't have a lot of options in terms of ways to attack. They have to break that guard in some way and get out, open my guard, stand up, basically take the position and change it so where I'm not at the full, I won't say full advantage, because technically I'm on bottom. That's why it's a weird position, in that I'm technically on bottom, and if someone was like attempting to punch me and stuff, it changes up a lot. Like in straight jiu-jitsu, what I love about it is there's, it's funny, I've talked about this when I've talked about the closed guard in the past, is from closed guard, traditionally people just don't have ways to attack you. Now that being said, I was choked unconscious from somebody being in my closed guard, but it was because I reacted improperly to what happened. So it's like one of those never say never. But if I have Topaz in my closed guard, I'm not really worried about Topaz submitting me, attacking me much. I'm worried about Topaz opening my guard, standing up, and basically getting to a position where he breaks my guard. So anyway, that's my diatribe on the closed guard. But one of the main things I like to use is, it's not really, I would call it the arm drag, because it's really not the arm drag per se. It's just getting their arm across, and it's just the concept of getting their arm across. So I'll just show you what I'm talking about real quick. This is probably the best angle. And if you have any questions throughout, please chat in. So when I'm here, one of the things I'm trying to focus on when I'm attacking their arms, and what's also beneficial is I can do this both ways. I have options. I can attack this arm. He really gets defensive. I swap to this arm quick and just hit what I'm trying to hit. But the concept is, if I can take his arm and get essentially his elbow past my midline here, and then pull him in and control him, he's in a very bad spot now. His arms are crossed, and it's very easy for me to exit out and start attacking the back. So this concept I use all the time from different positions. And if you look from here, all I'm doing is I can step on the floor, step on his hip, whatever, hip out. And as you see, then I can even close back up, and I'm already starting to leave being under him, and I'm onto his side. Sometimes you can get this, and you can pull them and they'll fall into you and into your lap where you can take the back. To be honest, that very rarely ever happens. Most people do, they'll like turtle up. They don't want to let you get them across, so you have to come up. But anyway, the concept is, from any of these spots, if I get one of his arms across, oops, sorry.
No, you're good. Just a little bit.
Yep.
There we go.
If I get either of his arms across that midline, I can start to exit out the side opposite of the arm that's across, and do a lot of things to attack the back. So if you watch my streams before, you've heard that me talk about that. You've seen that before. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit today is how I kind of set this up. Because generally, after a little bit of training, let me know if this is too much in your legs after a while. After a little while of training, if I am the bottom person here, I start to grab this and grab, especially like a 2-on-1, which is really where I attack this. I get a sleeve grip, pistol grip, or whatever, and a grip on the tricep here. He kind of feels what I'm trying to do. He knows if he lets me pull his arm across and down, he's going to be in a really bad spot, because now I'm using my legs to hold him in. I'm pushing this across, and I got a grip here. So as he tries to posture back up, it's really hard for him to get up. It's easy for me just to hold and wait it out. Okay? So people are very cognizant of not letting you do that. So what I found is the way you have to set up, the way you have to use to set these up, once you start getting past, training with white, blue belt level people, when people are really not just going to let you get that arm across. The concept I've really taken on, and I've talked about this also, is because they know they can't let that arm get across, they're not going to let me pull them across. They're going to be very, very, very mindful of not being pulled down, not letting their posture get broken down. So what I found is, to get that arm across, I have to move me more than move them, okay? So conceptually, I probably shouldn't have got out of this. So
You're good.
I'll get back here. Is this good enough? Yeah. So like I was saying, what I want to do is get this arm across to here. But there's a couple ways to do that. Obviously, if I could pull him across, great. But no one's going to let you do that. So what I started to realize when I started to play with this a lot more is I needed to use my hips. And essentially, instead of pulling him and moving him, I get a grip like this, keep him stationary, and then move my body to where I need it to be. So instead of pulling his arm across my midline, I'm keeping his arm stationary, and I'm moving my midline outside. So like something like this, and I'm just going to do this very easily, where I'm shipping my hip out, boom, here, and essentially moving
my body and bringing him into the space my body was just at. So although I didn't really move his arm much, I moved myself out of the way. So when you're fighting and fighting, you know, and they're really keeping this, it's like, you know, hip out, boom, move out. Get this across and coming out. So what I found is that from all these different positions, the key I found to really hitting this consistently is your hip movement. I've talked about this concept before, but it really, to me, I think really comes into play here is that the way I think about my hips when I'm telling people about where their hips are is like if you have a box that you're like is connected to the front of your hips. So if that box is facing this way, I can only do certain things. If I move my hips to where my box is facing that way, I shouldn't probably use this terminology with females. You know, I have other things. So for example, as I'm trying to pull him across, if the box on my hip is facing straight up, I'm not going to be able to get his arm across. So what I mean by that is that, again, if you imagine there's a box right here. So right now my hips are flat, it's facing the sky. To get his arm across that, I have to take his arm, move it across the middle of that box, and then bring him down on the side. What I end up having to do in practice is take his arm, make it stationary, and then take my hips and turn so my box is now facing that way. Because what that does, if you imagine this box is here facing the sky, hips are flat. Shrimp out, boom, to the side. Now my box is facing that way. My hips are turned out and his arm's going to fall down. I can transition out, push it over. But all I did was take that box and switch it from right under his arm to facing basically attached to the back of his tricep. Okay? And this concept works from all types of different positions. Go ahead and get back up and we're going to go to half guard. Now, I'll tell you, half guard isn't the best. I'd prefer from closed guard as we talked about. But if I'm here in like a knee shield or Z guard, whatever you want to call it, and I get a control of his arm here like this, it's the same concept. And that is like right now, this is here, but the arm is on this side of my midline. So I pop out, boom, here, and move it to the other side of my midline. I can move my hip out and come up. I like to grab the armpit on the far side. That way they can't posture back up. Because if I get to here, but I don't do a good job of controlling their posture, they're just going to posture back up, yes, and pull this arm back across. So whenever I'm attacking these, a lot of times if I'm in this position, I'm making sure I'm, you know, my fundamental stuff is sound. I'm keeping my frames, not letting him get, especially a grip here. I really, even with the Z guard, I don't like letting people get a grip here. Because what happens is they get here and they kind of compress it down. Even with frames, now it kind of limits my ability to move. So I try to make sure I don't let that happen. But as soon as I'm here, making sure I get my frames, I start to control here or cross grip. I like this one to start simply because I can keep framing. But if I can pop here, even punching like this and coming out still has the same effect. You know, although this usually turns into a fight because I don't have ability to control his posture. Yeah, see? So this is what happens. It comes a fight here. Maybe I can come to here. Usually I use that to turn the position into something just better for me. But from all of these spots, the concept is attacking the arm and getting it across. Because I find even in certain situations, like I don't think this would ever work on Topaz or something, but if I have control of that arm and you're passing, I can still use that control of the arm to frame and create space, or, excuse me, shrimp out enough to start to still like establish a, let's say I have this here. Now you may never ever pass if I had something like this, but if like you're here but you killed my legs, we're passing, yes, like here, I can still grip, and if he doesn't control my my legs in any way, which Topaz is smart, he would, I can post, come out, and start to do the same thing, the same kind of attack, and then I still have this angle to the spot on his back and a grip across. You know, from here, the fight is I got to get my legs out to come up and start attacking. But you can hit this kind of technique, I guess, concept from so many different spots. Like I said, the traditional, I just want to get you in close guard and start attacking it. And using my legs to pull you in, my hips to move out, get the arm across. What I find is it usually creates other opportunities because people don't like to sit there and let you play that game very, very long. So they'll try to stand up. I use the control of the arm. You can go to stuff like underhooking the leg and shooting for like omoplatas with control. I know I'm probably getting a little ahead of what we're talking about here, but I just like the concept that once I have that grip on the arm, I almost always have a little bit of an option or a chance to come out and attack. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to talk about in specific from that. I don't think so. So what I'd like to do is now just break it back down to the close guard section. And now that I've kind of talked about the concept of it a little bit, where I find I hit it the most is just from close guard. Against guys like Topaz, higher belt folks, I generally don't hit it very well from like places like half guard, simply because they understand what they have to do to break it down. At that point, I generally use it to transition to other positions, in all honesty. I'll use that threat to create something else. But even against someone like Topaz, who I know doesn't want to sit in my close guard, I have to focus on making sure, you know, I try to keep him from standing up as best I can. I try to keep connection to that arm as best I can, because then when he does stand up, he is pulling my weight up, just like if I had a cross collar grip or whatever. He does kind of have to deal with my weight when I have a good 2-on-1 grip on the arm. But one of the other things I've kind of felt or found throughout this process, it's a little thing, but I think it's something that killed a lot of my attempts at this early. Let's go back to the close guard real quick. Is this. So when I get to this, and like, you could do this with like a spider grip. I usually start with a spider grip, but I try to transition to a pistol grip. And the only reason I like that is because once I do get the arm across, it allows me to easily punch the arm. Because once I get across here, boom, this being able to punch out makes it much harder for them to come back and get this arm across. Because they want to bring this arm back here and get it onto my hip. So being able to punch really helps. But you can go back up. But one of the problems I have is if I get this, a lot of times, like JP, my coach will stand up. Especially if I don't like to let them keep this frame once I have this grip. People, you know, they like to frame on your hips a lot of times. When I get this, I like to attack, extend my hips up, pull, so I can start putting it into my pocket. And already I'm starting to threaten that arm across. But if you look at that, just go into that a little bit. Again, I'm not just pulling his arm off my hip. It's going to be hard. So when I focus on it, I get my grip. I have the tricep grip. My hips come up. And that's when, as I bring my hips down, is when I start to pull. So I kind of just think about bringing my elbow up to the sky. If the sky was towards where my head is, put my elbow that way, north or whatever. Hips up, and then pull him back down with my legs. So here's the biggest thing that I find is the mistake I was making very early, is I was focusing too much on my upper body use. And what I mean by that is, like, if I could pull him across, great. I'm pulling, and he's coming down. Okay? Now go ahead. Now just you don't, like, even if you don't have this frame, but you don't want to let me pull you down. Right? So I'm pulling him, not happening. Because I'm only using my arms. Now, but you see what I have here? My legs. I use my legs too. Pull. Even if he doesn't want to come down, this leg and this frame breaking here, up and pull with my legs. Punch across, grab. Okay? Hip out. We start to attack the back. I'm keeping this here, keeping a tight grip here, and pinching, like pasting myself to him. At this point, most people will start to fight to posture back up. You go ahead and just posture back, try to posture. Yeah, they're posturing. They want to get this arm across. So we just got to hold them tight. Still, using my legs, reverse crunching, pulling him into my chest. Because here's the thing, big guys, they're not gonna let you hold them here with just your arms. If I'm not using my legs at all, I'm just gonna loosen these up. See this? Yeah, see what's happening? Arms coming crossed. I can't hold it. Go ahead and go back. Now, with this here, using my legs, holding him in with my legs. Now come up. It's not happening. My legs are super strong here. I'll let you up for a second. Super strong. I think that's what people forget about from this position a lot, is they don't use their legs a lot, or they don't use their legs enough. They almost forget that I mean, to me, in that position, my legs are 60% of what I'm doing. Because if I'm trying to get your arm across, but I can't break your posture back down, it doesn't matter if I get your arm across. If your posture's up, you just bring your arm back across. I can't really keep it across if your posture's up. So those legs are really a strong force, because I'm using all my core muscles. My legs are wrapped around your hips. My core is pulling you all into me, so that I'm closing any distance between us and compressing the space so that you don't have the ability to posture up and get your arm back across. I mean, and sometimes people will super duper fight. Sometimes people, can we switch up and you get me in that position? So, you know, if I end up with this arm across here, and he, go ahead and grab my, that lat. You know, when I get stuck here, I have to get my elbow to his opposite hip. That's kind of my goal. Because if I can get my elbow, you can let go a little bit. If I can get my elbow back here, that gives me something to posture back in and create my posture, drive into him. But he doesn't want to let me do that. But what people will do is they'll get here, and you can go ahead and hold everything tight now. Yeah, and use your legs too. I'm like, they get here. They'll step up. And then they'll stop. Because they'll realize that's all a waste of energy. And that's what I wait for. And that's when I'll start to transition my hips. I'll open my guard. Go ahead and, and that's how I'll start to slide out more. And then they might fight more. And then I'll hold. You know, this, traditionally, when I've done this, it's not a fast, it's not a fast thing. I guess the best analogy, and this might be a little corny, is that like the initial attack to get the arm across is like a snake bite, fast. But then once I've got that, everything is slow constricting. I'm slowing everything down now. Because I want them, in all honesty, if they're going to fight, it's very easy for me to hold them in too close to me. Especially if I'm using my core muscles. Because they're using so much energy. Explode up, get their arm across, explode up. And it's very little work on my part. Just hold them in with my legs, keep that grip, keep the arm across. And wait. Sometimes they're exploding and driving forward as opposed to into you. And it makes it super easy. Just have them slide out and take their back even easier. Because them driving forward basically turns them into you a little more.
Right.
So what people need to do is get the posture back up and drive that arm back across. You know, you'll end up in those positions. Like I said, whenever you attack this, whether it's from closed guard, half guard, you know, you can do this from butterfly guard. I really like it from butterfly guard because when I push across, instead of moving myself, I'm usually using that butterfly. Let me show you real quick.
Yeah.
Let's do it this way. Like if I have that same grip, like I'm going for that 2-on-1, and you can do this in no-gi too if you get this kind of grip. But it's the same thing where I'm using the butterfly and this push-pull because a lot of times I need them to be into me, but it's like push, they push in, and that's where I go here and kick out, and use that to extend here, boom, here, and now I already got this, and you can't turn back in because of this hook. It's easy for me to then attack this. And it's simply because that butterfly hook allows an easy entry from here. Like, yeah, I broke this and I'm attacking here. So this is, I'll punch it into your chest.
Yeah.
you know. And then a lot of times what I'm just focusing on is then skipping under your center of gravity a little bit. Not necessarily pulling you up. I mean, I could go into a full here and then kick across, but I don't know if it's necessarily needed. I'm here, you know, I pull in, kick, boom, punch. You know, and I like this hook here because you kind of just fall right where I need. And even if you start to now posture up and try to come back up, see, I got that grip. And I can back out, hook. Hopefully you can see that on there. But that's what I like. I really like that butterfly.
Yeah, the butterfly is tight.
Yeah.
And even when you kick the foot out, this having control of the outside leg was pretty.
Yeah,
I felt like I couldn't move it. Yeah.
That's the thing I like with that hook through.
Yeah.
It kind of locks their hips in place. So they can't go one way and then the hook over or the arm keeps them from turning the other way. And what I love about that is, yeah, if you can get, and I'm not good at this.
Yeah,
This is
the
where
hook is strong.
But because you can attack that from nogi too, you just have to instead of that pistol grip, it's just that
Yeah.
I don't know if you call this a C grip.
Yeah.
C grip.
Uh huh.
I guess you could do it overhand as well. I just think because this helps with the kind of when you punch
This control is more powerful. It's
Yeah.
stronger this way than this one.
Yeah, and that's why. And what I like is then I punch.
Yeah.
I pull and punch the hand in,
Yeah.
which then helps to that dip under. And then it's not all it's a little bit of your center of gravity over me, and then it's just kicking with both this and this at the same time, and just transitions out. Boom, and you fall right in the spot. And I don't even have to fight if I get that hook quote fast enough. I don't have to fight. You know, usually when you get this arm across, you're kind of fighting for that grip on the
Yeah.
far shoulder. You're so far in here, I can get to a seatbelt. You want to try it?
No, you're good.
Yeah.
No, I can feel it. So yeah, no, I get that. That hook is what's nice.
Yeah, that's why I like that. That's why I like a lot of butterfly stuff because I like where it sets up controls of other things. Like even if they stand up, I can butterfly into X guard, single leg X. It gives you those openings for all that
Yeah.
stuff. But then with something like this, as soon as you hit that turn and that hook on that foot, they're locked in place. The best they can do is try to push up here to come like up, and you're already so far ahead. If you get the grip,
you've already
they're
got
stuck in place.
The
So
control, the upper
Yeah.
body control.
so
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and this is something I've been just playing with for probably I would say 8 or 9 months now. I actually did a stream going here's the 3 things I'm working on now
Okay.
from months and months and months and months ago, and this was one of them. Just working on the arm across because I think we might have talked about this before at one of our talks where my close guard has always been kind of like survival mode until it became uncomfortable with everything. I just open it and go to other things. But I kind of started to like think about, especially if I'm tired, especially if I'm like after scramble. A lot of times we'll have a scramble, and I'm like starting to gas a little bit. Where the scramble, I get back to a close guard, and it's like, okay, I'm here, and I have like I'm not a good cross choke guy. I'm not a good armbar guy. I've been working on that. That's another concept I've been working on, and I could go into that because we'll have some time unless you have something you wanted to talk about. But I just wanted to go, like, I just want people to not want to be no one wants to be in a closed guard, but I think a lot of times when I get in people's closed guards, I just go, okay, now I just have to open it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about
Any attacks.
Any attacks.
You don't feel threatened.
I'm not worried about being threatened by a choke or whatever. It's just, all right, now I just got to break this open. I'm worried more about sweeps than attacks. And I was just like, because I rolled, back when I was a 4-stripe blue belt, I visited a Gracie place in South Carolina, I think it was. And I rolled with a purple belt there. And it was weird because I felt like outside of closed guard, like if I was outside his closed guard, I could keep up or was maybe even a little better than him in lots of positions, especially like half guard, deep half, stuff like that. But as soon as I got in his closed guard, I couldn't get out of it.
Yeah.
And all it was like, I'm going to get choked eventually. Like, I'm going to get cross-choked eventually. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I can't stop this. And it's like every time I'm focusing on breaking the guard, I have to stop because I'm now have to defend the
addressing the
choke.
grips,
So, and that was really like, man, I want to have Outside, I feel is comfortable, but then inside, you know, I want to be like that, where it's like you get stuck in my closed guard, and it's like, damn it,
It's not a rest where some people consider. Yeah.
exactly, like where I'm just now it's time for me to attack you, whether it's attacking for a position or attacking for a submission, and so that's why I've been trying to like focus and work in terms of this. And this is back attack is because I like attacks from the back and I like taking the back. This is kind of the first thing I really started to implement into like my closed guard per se. But I will go into something a little bit else that kind of goes with what I was talking about a little bit, but just a concept that I was watching and I started to implement a little bit, and I've had some success in some ways. Although against someone not too long ago, I did have some problems with it, and I don't know why. So I have to think about that. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I try to do, and this goes back to kind of the attacking from the closed guard, and in this particular case, an arm bar. So, and again, I use this same concept and all this stuff to still tie into all that arm across stuff. So one of the things I try to do is get a grip here where I can kind of break this and get a cross grip, and then a cross collar grip on the opposite side. And what I saw, the concept of this that I liked about it, and I said, this is a smart way I think to attack, is this. You know, Topaz wants to, in general, I mean, there's a whole other side of like pressure passing people from closed guard, but you know, Topaz generally wants to get away. So he's going to do that generally, even if I have a grip here, he's going to grab here, or even if he had this grip, I want to get this grip here, and then I want to take a cross grip over top. And the reason being is this. He's going to try to use this frame to create space to break my closed guard. When he does that, go ahead and posture out of that. Yeah, here, I can use this elbow down to break the framing of that arm, which is going to make it harder for him to create that space he needs to start to open my guard, okay? So that's just a little bit of a concept that I've been playing with a lot, because people will frame all the time. They'll do this, because then I can't pull them down to me because of this frame. And now they can start to keep my hips flat and start to open my guard. So what I started to think about was like how to attack this. And I saw some stuff where it's like, okay, getting a grip here and then cross gripping across allows me to use my elbow to break this. Which coupled with my legs, again, remember, closed guard, our legs are super important. So if he's trying to posture out, I can break this and use my leg to pull him in. And then depending on what has here, I mean, I can start to transition here to the arm. Boom. Because I've already started to kind of set up attacks on that. So, but one of the things that also was kind of talked about in this video was so Topaz, if I have this here, right? And let's say I don't have you broken down really, it's just I have this, you know. You're probably going to intend to stand up on that side, right? Stand up and then start to basically get to where you stand, where now I'm extended up. You know, most people, when they attack someone in closed guard, will stand. JP is my coach. If I could keep him down like this for 5 seconds, I'd be happy. Because as soon as I get him to closed guard, he's immediately framing and standing up. So one of the things I started to focus on was using my legs to attack people standing up, but it's timing. So let's say even you had control, like let's say you wanted to stand up to start to posture up, and you control the sleeve. So you're going to control the sleeve, you're going to stand up on that side, right? When you go to stand with your other arm, hopefully I don't get it in the face. When I feel you're going to start to go up with this other leg, that's when I pull. Because that's the point when you're not going to have the ability to basically keep your framing up. Now, so sometimes, you know, I found this has worked a lot for me. Not all the time though, but I think it's just timing. Because even if I have this grip here, it's even better if you were going to stand up. I'm fine to now. It's just once I feel you're going to start to stand with your other leg is when I pull down. And I feel like I can do this over and over and over again. The problem is I just have to be faster than you, you know? And this is where, to me, the ability to attack is important. Because if I just keep doing that, like I can break, eventually you're going to, I think, beat me. Like I think eventually you're going to beat me on the stand-up. But what I like is even if you have a frame up here, I can't really pull you in as much. But I have grip controls and stuff. Even if you have frames on my hips, which sometimes people will do because they don't like to give you options of gripping up here. If you start to stand up, same principle. You stand up one side, and you go ahead and stand up on the other one. See, so this is the only thing. I fear like smashing someone's face into my face. But that's the thing. It's just this timing. That if I use that core muscles to pull you in at the right time. And so this is what, so I can already feel Topaz is doing what he should be doing. Is that before he stands up, he has to open my guard because then I don't have that control. So that's where, again, thankfully I have controls of this. I feel as long as I can attack one arm and keep both these hands off my hips, I feel like I could keep a closed guard. You know, I can get here, I can pull, and even this I can attack. You know, I'm going to be attacking. And that's why to me it's important to attack. Because good people that are good at getting out of closed guard aren't going to sit and wait for you. You know, we're going to scramble, boom, here. Immediately here, he's going to start to get frames and stand up. So I have to be ready. Again, same thing. We get the frames, he goes to stand up, and I pull him down at the right time. He goes, okay, you know, we just finished the scramble, I got the close guard. He goes, yep. I'm like, oh, no, this is no good. Pull him back in, get him, you know, break his posture down, maybe hug his head, whatever. It's just, yeah, and then so that's it. Maybe he starts to, yeah, exactly. So here, same thing. I think if he goes to stand, I can keep him from getting stand up using here. Now it does help that I have longer legs. I mean, if you have, you know, if you have very, very, very short legs, I'm not sure if you'll have the exact same success necessarily. But I think the key is to attack their grips in some way, at least one of their grips, and just that timing of pulling people down. Because I started to play with this against, like, Andre, one of the white belts, and it's like, that's easy to get. I mean, I don't want to sound, but it's kind of easier to get. But I started using it on other people here and there that were higher belt, and I started to still see success. It's just the timing, feeling that timing. And sometimes, I think the biggest thing for me is if I'm starting, like I got you close guard, you're framing and then going to stand up, I always can time it right. It's just in the middle, if it's like the third time we've done it now. I pulled you down once, I'm attacking, you got back up, I pulled you down again, you're attacking, boom, boom, and then the third time, I was just a little slow on the pull down. You got this second leg up. Well, now it's just a whole different position. Now I don't have control, and but I found that was a concept I didn't think about a lot. Like I always thought about and was kind of harped on using your legs, but I never really thought about the concept of the timing. But it's the same thing with the arm drag. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing as timing that pull in along with the pull across and the hip turn. It's that transition to all three at once that really, I found I've started to really get more success with those attacks on more experienced people. Yeah. Simply because the transition, like I'm using a scissor sweep that makes them boast one way that I just basically turn the hips, boom, right to the arm drag the other way. You know, it's like the concept of transitioning from one side to the other into the arm drags and stuff because of the control I have on the wrists.
And I think that's where your point of attacking more from close guard becomes even more important because if you have the ability to keep people from coming up, then you can immediately start to attack.
Yep.
But I will show you one where I'm a little different. But I also I love the pass. So yeah. I think this is why I really haven't encountered this as much. Is because my priority is controlling this arm. Mm. But not only do I don't want it here. We'll turn a little bit to the side. I want to take this grip and put it to your hip, right? And now I use my elbow and my arm to kill your leg. So now, even if you want to use this to pull it in, I'm blocking
that framing here. Yeah.
So this is why. So if you get this grip or whatever, I'll address this first. I put this back into your pocket to help kill the hips, and now my elbow.
Yeah, this really is a frame. It's a frame, and it kind of is the reverse concept.
So now I have this hand to staple here to kill the hip, and now I can go here
Yeah.
and here.
This,
So
and that's,
now
yes, that frame actually
you wanna-
locks it up.
you want to pull your hips in,
Yeah.
but this.
Yeah, because of the frame.
Now-
Now,
now it can
and
come
now
up.
this is going to open.
So that's
Interesting.
that's my approach to doing it because I can feel it. Like when you do that tech, it's super strong. But if we were here, you know, or however we set up before, and even if I kill this and I'm lazy and I'm just here,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't do it because your legs can zip.
Pull
Yeah.
in. Yes.
So now I want to kill this hip and
Yep.
block here.
Yeah.
So now I can step up here
Yeah,
and keep
even
this dead.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, that does
You
it
come up
because I
there, now I
can't.
can come up and
Yeah.
adjust.
And at this point, even if I could keep it,
Control,
this
here,
is
here,
not going to last very long.
here,
And this is
whatever.
where I just now I have to just transition to something else. I really like that. I haven't used that a lot in terms of from a guard pass perspective or from that position. But that the armor cross like that is almost like kind of the armor cross from the top. And that now I almost feel it's funny is like if I felt really especially once you started to open my guard, I'm almost immediately probably going to turn this way if that's still locked because
Because the arms-
I can't go the other way.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to try to invert and go. And the thing is, you'll probably see that a lot when people get to that point, they'll turn that way. And now
Yeah.
you're already going to be ahead of that because you know what their options
So
are.
I look for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I know people, you know, I'm like, hey, if someone grabs a cross collar, it's like you break the grip and the arm and you keep the arm.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just yours now. You put it right back in the pocket.
Yep.
You know, and you put it there. So that's kind of my approach really when I started passing, but I also like to pass from my feet. So
Exactly. So I mean, that's the thing is against someone like you. The key for me is to make sure I can continue to break you back down
yeah.
and not let you stand up. And it's funny because the concept it's something I only really even that portion of this concept I only really have been playing with for about a month and a half. It's just like anything else. Like against slower people or people that I'm more experienced against, I can see it, I can use it over and over again. It's fine. But against like you and higher belt people, what I see is like I have to be on time. I
Yeah.
have to be on time, and I also have to be ready because I haven't played with this enough. Like I don't know what I feel like my transition's probably just to De La Riva after that point.
Yeah.
But it also depends
figuring
on if I
out
still-
the
yeah.
game plan where we're going next.
Yeah. One thing I do like though, and this is just another thing that kind of ties in with something JP talked about a little bit was, and I might show this a little wrong, but I'm going to get that 2-on-1, but I want you to stand up this time, like where I can't keep you from. Sorry. So I got this. Now let's just say I even got this. Right, where because I like to get this grip here, where I have a kind of a control, so now I can help to fight with this grip with my wrist. It's hard for you to get something back. But what happens is JP will always stand up, and that's why I've been focusing on this. And even if,
I mean,
I know, but see, this is what
Yeah.
happens. So they end up like this, and he'll step. I think what he'll do is he'll kind of drive this in, and
yeah.
he
if I-
basically
if
is
you had
forcing.
this on,
Yes.
I would come.
Yes. So, well, he actually steps back. He doesn't drive like this. He ends up coming like this, and then he'll kill. Even if he lets me get the De La Riva, he'll kill this, and then I end up like this, and then he ends up smashing this and smashing through. But what I found was if someone stands up here and you feel them standing up, I'll keep this open so it's easy for you to stand up. As soon as they stand up, if I transition to here and push to De La Riva, this is where we can attack these type of like this, boom here, to a single leg. I know some people like to do this and then transition or switch the grip and transition up. The problem is I'm not fast enough against the people that do that to me to use that. Like I go to push the hip, they kill the foot, and now I'm in this compressed
Yeah, it's just a
position.
battle of transitions.
Yeah.
Flow, yeah.
That's the thing. But it's like anything, I start to work something and I kind of find where the transitions are, you know, where my options are, where I'm going to lose spots. You know, that's where I really like working with more experienced people like you and obviously like JP and stuff because it really shows where my flaws are going to be. Like if I can't like jibber jabber a move and get it to work right.
Yeah.
Like it has to be pretty effective. It has to, like I can't miss a grip.
Yeah.
Because if I miss a
I mean,
grip,
but that's a good thing too, right?
Mhm.
It prevents you from creating bad habits of
oh yeah,
always getting away with half-ass technique because
Yeah.
you know you're just that much better than everybody else. So
yeah, I know it's one of the things I was talking to a friend about this recently too, where it's like, you know, if I train with less experienced people for a while, I'm looser, and then I'm letting them do more,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to be more fluid with what I
Yeah.
do and be more technical with what I do. But if I've been doing that for a while and then I end up rolling with you again or someone like that, the first roll or two,
Yeah.
that first day back to training with people like that, I find, to me, it's almost in my mind, it's like, it feels like I'm being lazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm in this slower, which I want to be, even against someone like you, I want to be flowing, I want to be controlled, but I can't be like behind because I'm just so.
Yeah,
like,
you have to connect your techniques a little faster or more fluidly, where like you don't have that gap between, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then while they're thinking through their next step, you have time
exactly.
to do something else.
So it's like,
yeah,
and but what I like is that, and I don't know if you've experienced this yourself, but a day or two back, it starts to come back quick.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay, you know, this is where it's like, okay, I have to increase everything 50% faster now than I've been for the last 2 weeks, simply because that 50% is, I'm going to lose every match, I'm going to lose every transition, I'm going to lose everything. So, you know, so that's something I've been thinking about more, is just trying to stay flowy and relaxed while still keeping up with more experienced people, you know. I think I'm doing okay with it. I think I'm having some, like, I feel like if I was training with people, I feel like my like game is pretty good. Even I mean, I'm not going to win every time, obviously, but like I feel like the flow of things I'm doing and the transitions of things I'm doing and the connections of everything is really coming together a lot more, which is like, again, it's funny. I've been doing this more than 7 years now, and I'm just like, that's nice. You know?
Yeah, there really is. I mean, it's always, there's something new to learn every day. It's never, you know.
Yeah. This is where I don't understand how people
Never
can get bored with this.
stale. Like, yeah.
I guess maybe 15 years, 7 years in, maybe I'm not bored yet. Maybe 15 it will be.
I mean, you could be extremely experienced black belt, and just because every body is different,
Yeah.
no two challenges are the same. So that's another reason why it never really grows old. And then now there's so much material out there that you never know what someone's going to do. You know, that when they're coming through the door, you can't really anticipate or say, oh, well, this guy's going to do this, so I'm just going to relax a little bit. It's like, it's a different challenge every day, which is great. You know?
Yeah. Well, and that's I've talked to you about this. But once stuff starts kicking up, you know, I think I'm going to have some opportunities to train with some wrestlers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that'll be interesting. Just a different feel. Like I've trained with people who had wrestled before, but I haven't really trained with people that are like active wrestlers right now.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny because there's a part of me goes, I'm probably going to get smashed a lot, but I'm also going to take a lot of people's backs because they do not want to go on their back. They'll give up the back to not get pinned, which is it's funny is every time I have somebody that wrestled a lot and then came in as newer to like a white belt who wrestled a bunch, their back is always so available.
A lot of arm drag opportunities.
Yes, arm drag and stuff. Yeah, and then with that butterfly too. Like that's what I'm saying. That kind of stuff I really like because, especially that butterfly guard, I feel like it almost is such a counter to any kind of. If they want to just pressure in on you and be heavy on you and stuff, I'm like, more, bring it. This butterfly is just going to flip you right over me or flip you up. It's like I started doing butterfly stuff very early. I think it was probably because Steve Miller liked it a lot, so I started to add it, and I have the flexibility in my legs to do it. But I just like those the transitions you can build out of those the butterfly attacks from all types of stuff.
Any kind of changes, any kind of new challenges. I mean, they bring growth, so it's always fun. It's always fun, you know. And once again, it's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. It never goes stale. So,
No. I mean, see, even to this day, there's like I said, I've been doing it 7 years now, and over 7 years now, and I still see stuff. I'm like, oh, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
You know, but it's funny. It's back in the day when you started, like everything's like, oh wow, and now it's like, oh, I've never seen that before, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that totally makes sense. You know, I don't know why I didn't even think about that before. It's funny because I think once you've done this for a certain amount of time, I mean, the body can only move so many ways. That's kind of what the submissions are based on. You know, the body only goes certain ways, but how to manipulate that seems to be almost
the setups, the transitions. They're seems like limitless. But it's
great. All right, I think we'll go ahead and finish up for today. Trying to think, is there anything else? Like I said, Topaz Like the Stone. Check out his Twitch stream. You're doing stuff during the week too, right? Like or when you can.
Yeah, I try Thursdays. I might be on today at 6. I'm trying to get on today later on at 6
Okay.
and talk about some things.
Excellent.
Not really sure, but that's what's scheduled for today. But yeah, we try to get on during the week too.
Yeah.
Just want to grow the audience and reach more people.
Mhm.
Build like a community of folks that are trying to help each other out in any domain, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing is like it's even
I've got
outside.
foodies calling in and talk about nutrition.
Yeah.
I've got doctors. I mean everything. People are willing to call in and talk and answer stuff on the chat, so it's really fun.
Yeah. Excellent.
But on a separate note, before we
Yeah.
wrap up, is hey, a lot of gyms are opening up soon.
Yeah.
If they haven't already. And what I've been really pressing for across social media is prepare your bodies for jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
A lot of people are ready to roll mentally, but physically, if you haven't been doing a lot of bridging, a lot of hip movement, a lot of rotation through the spine,
Yeah.
your body is not going to be ready. And I'm not even talking about conditioning of making it through a 2, 3, or 4 or 5 minute round.
It's a risk of injury.
I had a couple people doing this recently. I was trying to tell people I don't even need a partner. I was really just having people really get into this supine position and really just practice their Upa bridge here and really emphasizing this point and stretch through the arm and make sure they're really hitting this hard, because what we see, or what you're going to see when people come back, is we're rolling and now John passes my guard, and lo and behold, despite the fact that I haven't trained for 6 weeks, I've got my guard pass and now I'm going ham. I'm going ape shit because I don't want to be here. And it's here and here and here and here and here. And then the next day, you're like, man, I threw something out in my lower back and maybe it was on a takedown attempt. And it's like, no, dude.
Nope.
It was when you were underneath cross side and you didn't practice just going here and getting that rotation through the spine, that stretch
Yeah.
from toe to fingertip. Like, if you want to do yourself any favor at all before you get back to training, the bridge, and then for you yoga fans out there, my thing is Malasana. Get in here, get those knees out and open, and get your knees loosened up and these hips.
Yep.
I've been doing a whole lot of this for 6 weeks, coming in here too, and really doing this moving around. I know everybody's itching to get back to train, but I say if you haven't been doing it from today
Yeah.
until you get back on the mats,
Yeah.
integrate some of that deep squat stretching and that rotation through the lower spine.
Yeah.
That way, week 1 or week 1.5 back to training,
You're not dead.
you didn't throw your back
Yeah,
out, and
yeah.
now you're out for
That's-
weeks
Yeah.
just because you didn't
Yeah.
do anything. So
And then also from the mental, like I couldn't imagine if I was like, I never had the blue belt blues thing. I
Yeah.
never understood it. I don't know. Maybe I think it's just because this thing just took over my mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, but
I'm the same way. Yeah.
yeah. But I couldn't imagine if like I just got my blue belt like a month or so before this kicked off, and then it's like just now stop.
Yeah.
You know. But you know, from the mental side of it, same thing. Just take it slow. You know, if you know. You might not feel as good, you know, as sharp as you did when you stopped, you know, where you were training before. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's to be expected.
Yeah.
Probably everybody else is going to be in the same boat. So just like he was saying, like take care of your body, you know. And if someone passes your guard, just work on a guard, a guard retention.
Yeah.
Don't freak out. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. Like I think the biggest thing that's going to get people hurt coming back, in all honesty, is ego.
Ego.
You know, they're gonna like lose a position to somebody they usually wouldn't have because they just haven't been on, you know, doing stuff, and they might, you know, really don't want to have that happen. Why, you know, I haven't trained in 2.5 months, but I should be able to stop this, and then, you know, someone gets hurt. So it's like, just come back and have fun.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Have fun.
No,
And
I
take care
think
of
you're
yourself.
right. 100%.
Yeah.
Ego is the enemy, man, and it's like you're really not competing against anyone except yourself. 1% better every day, and as long as you feel better when you step off the mats than you did before you stepped on. Meaning stress-wise, stress less, live more, mental clarity, physical conditioning. Then you've achieved
Yeah.
success for that
Yeah.
that lesson. It's not I had to submit 80 people.
Yeah, it has
or-
nothing to do with it. It's really that's I don't know if it's because I started jiu-jitsu when I was older or just the people I was around or whatever, but I bought into that really early. Like I can't lie and say I didn't have an ego throughout
Yeah.
my blue belt times and
Yeah.
stuff. But when I started just going, this isn't worthwhile. Like my jiu-jitsu game got way better. My training with people got way better.
Yeah.
Like, and not what I was a bad person to train with, but it was just like, it doesn't matter. It's like I go into it going, I'm trying to get better here. Like,
Yeah.
training isn't competition. Training is to get better. It doesn't matter if I get tapped 15 times in one day. If I got better that day because I've worked on escaping from that, whatever, like maybe I got triangle 15 times because I'm
Yeah.
trying to get out of triangles, but I got 1% better at getting out of triangles. It's a success. Doesn't matter. And maybe 14 of those 15 people think they're big. They get ego boosts because of it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't have anything to do with you. You know. So I really I want to say late blue belt really kind of just got that in my mind, and when I started training, just thinking about that, everything started coming so much easier.
Yeah.
So stop caring about winning.
That's right.
Go win competitions though. I mean, winning competitions is good. That's the
But
point
that's
of
a
it.
different mindset.
different thing,
You're
yeah.
preparing for it. Your mindset.
Yeah.
You're mentally going into that mode during preparation for that 6-week camp or whatever it is. Like, hey, here's my mindset going in. I'm going into a competition. I'm
Yeah.
going into a fight. I'm going into a tournament, and you turn that on.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not only in the gym. I mean, that's all aspects of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
turns into nutrition. You know, sleep.
Yep.
And everything else. You flip it into this competition mindset. So,
Yeah, no, that's 100%. That's 100% true. So, all right, we'll go ahead and finish up here. I'll let you get about your Sunday, sir. Thank you for coming
Yeah.
again.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we'll keep rolling along with this. Maybe next time we'll do it on your page.
Yeah, no,
instead.
whatever works,
It's-
man.
It's like I
Yeah.
said, it's all good. It's all just trying to get jujitsu stuff out there and have fun. So.
Hit me up, guys.
Yep.
Wordplay Obsession on Instagram.
Yep.
Topaz Like the Stone on Twitch. Yeah, lots of content, lots of fun. Let's do it.
Yep. All right. Until next time, guys. See you next Sunday. Should be a stream next Sunday. Don't think there's any reason. Every time I say this, there turns out to be a reason. But don't think there's any reason it shouldn't be a stream next week. So see you guys then. Bye.